video is going to be good, and let me show you why. So I've been taking some photos of the engine. I just wanted to get some nice photos so I can go in Photoshop and crop the background out and stuff, make, I don't know, some nice engine photos. So now unfortunately I've got to pull half this stuff off the motor to put it back in the ute. So I'll flip the camera around and we'll have a look. But we'll have a look while I've got it dressed up still. And I'll give you guys a rundown on this engine too. So this engine originally had some rockers fail and drop 2 exhaust valves. So that's what that hole is right there. That's where the exhaust valve shot out the exhaust pipe. So I'll need to fix that. Dropped a valve over there and dropped a valve on this side. The 2 roller rockers had enough and gave up. So engine has been fully freshened up. T&D steel rockers this time, so I went for the top shelf rockers. Hopefully never have any dramas ever again, touch wood. So currently, it's 565 cubic inch crankshaft. I think it's a Kelly's center counterweight. It's not a billet one, but it's a decent crank. Oliver Max Plus connecting rods with a rod bolt upgrade, and JE pistons flat top, and heads AFR 357 CNC heads. Yeah, T&D steel rockers, big chunky fat push rods. It's got all the good stuff. Bronze lifter bores, 903 BAM lifters, the bushed ones. Camshafts around 800 lift. That's a decent solid roller cam. I've got an alternator running up the front here. So it's a 160 amp, I think, MacMan alternator. Savvy dry sump pump, which is a 4-stage, which is 3 scavengers and 1 oil pressure. So, and I've got a Dan Olsen's pan, which I had to take a chunk out the front there to miss the steering shaft, and I had to take a lot out of my cross member of the ute to fit that in there. Headers are 2 and 3/8, I think they are. So a little bit bigger than 2 1/4 tube. And then to here they go into 2.5 inch. And then 2.5. I think, actually no, sorry. It's 2 and 2 1/4 into 2 and 3/8 into 2.5 inch. So I've stepped them, so smaller, medium, and then large. So by the end here, that's at 2.5 inch. So each pipe is 2.5 inch at the end, and 2 1/4 inch coming off the head. I run a Haltech to monitor everything as well. I've got a Nexus R5 in the ute with the coil plug setup, whatever the hell they call it. I bought an Enderley 990 fuel pump, so I went a bit overkill with that and bought a monster fuel pump that's suitable for like 2,000 plus horsepower. So I went a little bit overboard with the fuel pump, but I thought big is better. That's how it goes, I think. Plasma Man intake manifold, a billet one. Love that thing, it looks really good. Just an MSD cam sync. Littlefield 1471 blower, just a standard case. And a JBR carbon injector hat. And up the front, I've got a Jezel belt drive, current pulley ratio, actually RCD crank support as well. So, and current pulley ratio, there's 10% overdrive. I did upgrade my idler to this one, just a more bulletproof setup. It's like top fuel sort of bulletproof setup, so I never need to worry about that belt tension ever moving in its life. Rock covers, these are Sean's custom rock covers, they're really nice. And the burn down tubes go up in there, so they're the breathers. Got 2 massive pipes coming off them bad boys. Don't think I missed anything, but that's about it. That's where my valve left the chat last time this motor was out. I have to fix that. And yeah, Mizzy starter motor and a billet flex plate. Okay, so that's it. That's the motor. So Brad Mackay built the motor, Brad's Race Engines, and I got the motor tuned by Damien Baker, BG Engines, and Dale Hellier, which is the Haltech man. Had Dale and Damien doing the tuning, and they got it done real quick. So this motor made 1280 horsepower at the wheels with that pulley set up. So just how that motor is right now, it's tuned, everything, it's 1280 horsepower at the wheels. That's what it made. And because I just changed this tensioner bracket, I'm gonna have to do something to get the water out of these. It's really close to the bracket there, so but I'll figure that out. So that's the motor. I'm gonna show you guys something, bit of a tech thing. We'll come over here. This will be very interesting because a lot of people probably don't know this, but so this is the little pulley I put up on the top of the blower last time I had it on the dyno, just to make more boost. So this pulley actually got an extra 100 and something horsepower, but this is 25% overdrive once this pulley went on. But as you can see here, it's got GT stamped in it. So something I didn't realize is there's 2 different pitch profiles of the belt. So this is a GT pulley, so this actually requires a GT belt. So they actually make a standard 8mm pitch blower belt, and then they make a GT 8mm pitch blower belt. So there's actually 2 different types of pulleys, 2 different types of belts, which I never even knew about. So a lot of people probably don't even know about it. So I bought this fancy pulley, and you can actually see the pitch, how it's kind of flat at the bottom. So at the bottom of the groove, it's kind of flattened off, whereas the standard pulleys, they're rounded. So you can see it's nice and rounded, and then this here, you can see it's squared off at the bottom. So, and because I just had a rubber belt, it probably wouldn't have just sat in there like it should nicely, and because it was 20% overdrive, and that is a pretty small pulley, it must have just been enough to start spinning the belt on the pulley, and that's what stripped all the teeth off the belt on the dyno. So that's a little bit of a tech tip thing, because a lot of people probably don't know that. First event for the ute. I'm thinking of doing the Power Cruise Street Outlaws later this month, so that's what I'm planning on doing this ute. So I'm going to try and get it up and running. Hopefully all's well, and it's on a Thursday night, which is a bit of a bummer. Don't know why it's on a Thursday night, but it is. But I'm still keen to go out. I've got a lot of people that I'm going to do some grudge races with and stuff, and just see how the ute goes, see if it's actually going to perform or if it's just the show pony. And yeah, go have some fun. But for now, I'm going to put this motor back in. I'm going to get stuck into it. One other little thing I'm modifying here is this hose fitting coming off the bottom of the fuel pump. So when I was at Queensland Power Cruise, this come loose and there was fuel leaking all over the headers, all over the ground, and you can't even get to that fitting once the motor's in the car. So this whole area is kind of, all the headers are coming down here. You got the cross member down there in the road. You just cannot get to that pump. So if it starts leaking, I pretty much lost all the fuel I had in the tank from that leaking, and it took me probably 40-50 minutes to try and get to it, and that goes to the header tank right there. So this is what I had on it. So originally I bought a Teflon hose, because Teflon's meant to be the most durable for methanol, but obviously because this is dash 16, it's really thick and it's not very flexible. As you can see, it kinks when you try and bend it. So the hose is pretty much stuffed because I've kinked it, but it's just too stiff for where it's got to go. And up here, so I had the dash 16 fitting, and then I had this going into the back of the fuel pump. So that fitting there, so it's pretty much, it's joined here and here. So I've pretty much eliminated that fitting by just buying a straight, it's pretty much an ORB fitting going straight into the pump, straight into the hose. So I've managed to eliminate this fitting here, and this is exactly what come loose. So this fitting come loose from that fitting, just from the vibrations. So that come loose, and then it was just leaking fuel everywhere. So that is never going to happen again with this hose. And this hose is way better, heaps more flexible. It is like a, I don't know what the hell they're made out of, like rubber or whatever. I know the methanol will take a toll on it over the time, but so long as when I get back I clean all the methanol out of the hoses, then the hose will last a long time. So just a little thing that I had to fix to try and run into less problems down the track. Someone say tight fit. Very tight fit. It's going to go down near dead straight. Just had to undo the oil pump to get it past the radiator, then put it back on. And I've got the dipstick tube down there that was in the road. Very tight, but at least I can keep the radiator in, which is good because I didn't want to take it out. Alright, so I just got the motor back in. I actually just started it. Did the timing, all that sort of stuff. Everything's running mint, so, which is great news. I haven't put any water in it. I need to try and get some fittings here, so I only ran it for, I don't know, roughly a minute, just to put some heat into the motor. I primed the oil pump with a drill before I started it, but it's running really good, and I got the timing bang on. I was worried I had it 180 degrees out, but I didn't, so I'll start it up in a minute again and show you guys what it sounds like. Alright, take two. And feel on. Fuck, my eyes